what day it is. The day of reckoning. Teardown day. So I'm going to try to scale the car first, get an idea of what this big girl weighs, and then as I start cutting metal out, we'll see where the weight's moving. And then the goal of this car, I'm not going to tell you like exact weight numbers, but it's not a 50-50 car. It's never intended to be. And there's some benefits from not having a purely balanced car. They rotate a little bit differently. So I have goals for this car. I'm going to see if I can hit it. I think the car weighs right now, without me in it, probably 2,900 pounds. That's my guess. So a lot of people look at the JZX and they're thinking like 3,200 pounds, like as is, without me in it. They're not that heavy. They're not crazy heavy cars. So let's get up on the scales and then see what we got. So here's a scale kit. Nothing fancy. So let's hook this bad boy up, see what kind of numbers we got. All right, big reveal. Here it is. Run out of string, wire. 2841, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Not bad. So this thing's got a ton of steel in it. All steel. Trunk, roof, bunch of shit in the back, stock dash. Like, there's very little cut out of this yet. So we definitely have some areas we can shave some weight. This thing alone probably weighs like 80 pounds. I'm exaggerating, but just barely. This thing is dense. All it is a heat sink at this point too. IATs are way too high. So replace that, probably chop the rails, move some things back, get the weight where it needs to be. We'll be in good shape for next year. Time to start chopping. All right, so I forgot one thing. It's not quite full of fuel, and these tires are kicked. So I'm going to put a 25-pound ballast in the back. There we go. That'll get us our baseline. Good enough. Now when I start adding weight back in, I'll put ballast in the driver's seat. That way it's reflecting of where I'll be sitting. So let's see the real total. 28, 63, 4. All right, 63 and a half. Not too bad. Cross is off, distribution's off, but number's okay. Time to cut. Pretty much it. Look at all that room. So I'm probably gonna push the firewall forward. It's got this factory angle on it. Can't really tell probably because it's dark as shit in here. But the factory angle is like maybe a 30-degree slope, and that cuts out a lot of space. So if I can move these posts back 6 or 8 inches, that should be a pretty good shift of weight. I want to make sure it's over top of the axle as much as possible. Right now it's a little bit behind, not a ton, but while I'm in here I might as well move it. So bad news is that means all new firewall, but this is a temporary firewall anyway. We threw it in right before running to Orlando for first event last year. Here it is, a lot lighter. Check the scales, 24.69. Nice. 70. Here, I want 69. There you go. Just pull up on that. So keep tearing shit apart. Gonna take out the wiring system, surge tank, water pump, and then I'm gonna start mocking up the new parts and see where the weight lands. All right, so kind of up, and I don't know how it happened, but I deleted an entire SD card. So you're kind of missing all of the engine uninstall, but that's pretty simple. There's not much to it. So engine's out. I'll do a little time lapse and then talk about the car and whatever's going to happen next. Okay, so engine's out, fuel cell's out, all of the wiring is basically out. Subframe's gonna come out tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a quick thing on how to measure for axles. Car runs stock axles now, but I'm going with drive shaft shops or maybe Wise Fabs. They have the really cool twist. So get those out, show you how to measure that stuff. But first I'll show you what the car looks like. All right, so here's the engine bay. Like I said, it's really simple because this thing's got a motor plate. So you see like I got these couple bolts here, and same on the other side. This one has an extra stabilizer for the KRC. They tend to flex a little bit, so that definitely helps. And then wiring wise, this thing has 2 mil-spec connectors or Autosport connectors. Pop them off, that's the entire harness. You got 2 coolant lines, catch cans, done. It comes out like extremely easy, but that's the intent. I mean, it's a race car. Hopefully you don't have to pull the motor, but just in case. So then going forward, going to redo everything. So all the plumbing's gonna be taken out. These are still good, so I'm gonna reuse them. They'll probably get retired to another car. Nitrous is already starting to go in. Got that started up. It's just a single dry shot, nothing too crazy. Probably get rid of the mechanical kill switch. Might change the pedal box, all that stuff. Inside the car, kind of ignore this whole rat's nest of shit over here. That's the existing rad lines here. That's wrapped with TechFlex sleeving. So TechFlex makes like aircraft grade sleeving. So some of it's tear proof or cut proof, and this is thermal insulator. So it's per the FD requirements, you have to have this shielded, anything that's inside the cab. So this does meet the requirements. Just in case there's a leak, AN line or something like that, purges, it'll stay inside the sheathing. Same with the ends here. So you have the giant heat shrink on it. And there's this really cool bulkhead that Tony made. So Tony's the owner of Freedom Motorsports. He whipped that up for me. So that's all good. In the back, got the Messier pump. Messier or Messier or Miser, whatever you want to call it. 55 gallon per minute. We need every bit of that volume for the new rad. So when that rad shows up, I'll talk all about it. It's a CNR. They make a rear rad basically. It's drift specific Pacific Ocean radiator, and it's got 2 brushless spall fans, moves like 4,000 CFM. The thing's like super badass. So that pump is going to be pushing every bit of volume it can because the radiator is pretty demanding. So I'll show you all that stuff. But that's it. So car is stripped. It is very light and empty and boring. All right, so that's pretty much it. I mean, you can see like motor's out, pretty much everything is out. The tank or the cell is moved a little bit, but there's not much else to do right now. Kind of waiting on parts. So the engine is at the machine shop. It's so it's a 1.5J. and 2J GE bottom. Don't need squirters or something for this kind of stuff, so it's kind of a budget-ish motor, but it's going a little more serious this year. So that was a stock mains engine and everything too. We're going with billet mains, CP Carrillo combo, Kelford cams, the whole nine, so it's going to be pretty stout. And the car should be set for way over 1,000 horsepower. I mean, I know people that make like 1030 on stock 2Js, no problem, but this thing should be set for way higher. And you know, the reason for that is one, reliability, overbuild and then under tune. But also pro spec is probably temporary for me. Like I really want to take the leap, and the jump is a lump. So I want to take the lump to Pro 1. And first, I think you'll agree that I covered that pretty well. So lump to Pro 1, this thing should be ready for 1,000, 1,200 horsepower, depending on which tire sponsor I can pick up, something like that. So this thing's ready, and that's the goal. We want to go pro. So I'll talk about that. Talk about what I'm doing with the car. Running a shit ton of different sensors on here. All EGTs, wastegate pressure, pre and post intercooler for MAP and IIT, so we can watch pressure drop and IIT changes. Drive-by-wire, so this thing's gonna be pretty advanced. And of course, I'll finally have data. So now that partnering with Link, I can do GPS and overlays. So if I'm in the car saying that I was full throttle through there, didn't seem like anything was happening, we can look through the data, and if I'm lying, maybe it was 85% throttle, that'll be apparent. Last year, we were totally blind. We had zero data, so that'll be a big improvement. But I guess while I'm waiting on parts, I think I can do some build breakdowns on the other cars. So this guy here, this is my baby. This is the first JZX, and it's the final bout car. Everybody knows the hood popped up and stuff. But this thing's just, it's not a competition car. It's caged and everything, but it's more just my fun style car. I kind of like this one more than the other one. But don't tell anyone. It's got AC though. It's got Gana doors, Type 1 hood. Potentially the last Type 1 hood ever made. They said they cracked the mold. So that's a cool thing. And then got this car here. So this is the old PS13. And this dusty girl here, it's been through some stuff. Unfortunately, I did wreck it, but not that bad. We got the frame all straightened out, so I can talk about this car. Cool thing about it too is it's the original SR. So that's the SR from 93. As far as I can tell, same rockers are in it. So that car is really cool. But I can talk about that, or the Z. So I always forget about the Z. It sits outside. I ran out of garage space. It's a really basic DE car, but everyone's getting Zs. So you'll see wow, fuck's name. Tommy has a 370Z, Ricer's got one, Jimmy Oaks is getting a Z, Grant's got a Z. So all those Connecticut tuber boys have them. They're going to be at Englishtown all the time, so maybe I'll do a kind of a breakdown on the Z, show you how to make a pretty fast, pretty sick little Z for almost no money. That Z is very, very simple. I have inline hydro. I have cheap eBay arms. I haven't broken anything in 3 years. So I don't know, pick one of the cars. It's really cold outside, so I'm not going to bring them all in, but pick one, I'll bring it in, get it on jack stands, do a build, breakdown, bio, whatever you want to call it thing, and then go to the next one. So leave a comment or something. Yeah, sure will do. Leave a comment, the top vote. So all 4 comments that I'll probably get on this, I'll count, and whichever one has a single vote will probably win, because that's it. But yeah, anyway, I'll do something whenever I get more parts, but until then, build stuff. Okay, bye.